Yo, what's up, guys? Eating Dubs Fantasy Sports. In this video, I want to talk about an absolute bottom of the barrel scraping in the form of Josh Reynolds. Josh Reynolds is a wide receiver for the Detroit Lions. He was recently acquired by the Lions, I think like 2 weeks ago. So he's played 2 games so far for the Lions. He's quickly shaping up to be the wide receiver one for the Lions, which is, I mean, to be expected. And the reason I'm bringing him up as a bottom of the barrel scrape is that him and Jared Goff are reuniting from their days with the Rams when Jared Goff was with the Rams, as well as Reynolds. And Reynolds, I think, can be a potential sneaky wide receiver play the rest of the season. And I want to tell you guys why I think that. Now, I just want to preface quickly by saying he's not going to give you top 20 wide receiver numbers or anything like that, in my opinion. I mean, there's, of course, always a chance any wide receiver can pop for a couple games or a game, and that can elevate them into that echelon, but I don't know. I just think this dude could bring some value in deep leagues. If you're looking to replace someone like Deebo Samuel, which I'm currently doing, Reynolds might be that guy. I mean, the waiver wire was super thin for me. Anyway, let's just jump on in. First, I just want to tell you guys about Reynolds individually, and then we'll kind of fill in the gaps with some more context about the team, about the schedule, and stuff like that. So, looking quickly at his metrics, so he's a 6'3", pretty lengthy receiver, 194, 6'3", not crazy. Now, things that pop out to me, he's got a pretty significant catch radius. He's got an 81st percentile of agility, 71st in burst, and slightly above average in 40-yard dash and speed. So he's not super fast, but he's big and he can catch, and he has a huge catch radius. So what I see when I see that type of stuff is red zone threat, someone who could get touchdowns. He's not going to be somebody who's going to be getting you a significant amount of first downs on possession receiver. He's not going to be doing like shifty routes. I see him as just like run him down the sideline, see if you could throw deep to him. Now, I feel dirty just simply even recommending a Detroit Lions player, but I think some context might be needed about the Lions. So, I want to head over and just show you guys the Lions' recent schedule, or just show you their schedule in general. So, they've been having a tough season. As you guys know, they are winless. They have one tie and they're winless otherwise. They got blown out by the Niners, blown out by the Packers, narrow loss to the Ravens, 10-point loss to the Bears, okay, bad. Super narrow loss to the Vikings, blown out by the Bengals, but the Bengals are blowing almost everyone out. Lost by 9 to the Rams, that's to be expected. Rams were rolling at that time. I mean, I'm not going to go through every game. Blown out by the Eagles, tied the Steelers, lost by 3 to the Browns, lost by 2 to the Bears. So I want to look at these last 3 games specifically since the bye. So, dude, bye weeks, anything can happen. A team can come out of a bye and be beast moding, and then a team can be complete dog shit after a bye. It looks like the Lions have not packed it in yet. They've not shipped it in. They're still trying to play at least 3 super narrow decisions. I was about to say losses, but they tied the Steelers. And the reason I think Josh Reynolds and the Lions and Jared Goff specifically could yield some utility or yield some production for you guys is their upcoming schedule, obviously. So they play the Vikings this week, which is a plus matchup. They play the Broncos, the Cardinals, the Falcons, Seahawks, and then week 18, which doesn't really matter for fantasy, they play the Packers. Now I want to look at between now and week 17 specifically, and I want to start with the matchup rating versus or 4 wide receivers. So this is Josh Reynolds' upcoming schedule. His matchup rating from this week, week 13. So he's got super fair matchup against the Vikings, bad matchup against Denver, but I think he could still produce. I mean, Denver looked super good last week against the Chargers, but this scratch that. This is a game I would maybe not want to start him. But other than that, you have Arizona, which Arizona's a great defense. I think I could see the Lions getting shut out in this game, but for the most part, you have a decent schedule. So it's not great. It's not bad. it's just a schedule. It's an average schedule, in my opinion. You have another plus matchup against Atlanta. Now, the matchup against Mini, Arizona, Atlanta, and Seattle are matchups that I think he could give you something. He could give you like second flex, end of your bench production, and we'll see. I think this week against Minnesota, if he produces again, gets into the end zone again, and again seems to be Matt Stafford, Jared Goff's favorite target, I think we might have something. They might be able to get hot together. And quickly looking over at Jared Goff's similar schedule, it's similar. I mean, decent matchups against Minnesota, decent matchup against Denver. They're close to average against quarterbacks. So this is like the quarterback against the defense. And there's no like glaringly shitty matchups on this. Like against Arizona, I can see him struggling, of course. But otherwise, Jared Goff, there's no one that like really, really scares me on this list. There's no Buffaloes, there's no Patriots. And I mean, dude, I don't know if they're going to pack it in. They want to justify signing Jared Goff or trading for Goff. They're not going to bench him. They're going to continue playing him. Even just picking up Josh Reynolds, I think, is an attempt to try to manufacture some production, get him a receiver who he's familiar with. And I think they're going to force feed Reynolds because I think that's what they're trying to accomplish. And this is a super speculative ad, but just a little more context around that is that DeAndre Swift could miss multiple weeks per Jeremy Fowler. DeAndre Swift is one of the best receiving backs in the NFL, and him missing time means a lot of vacated targets are going to be available. Jamal Williams is not really a pass catching back with this Lions team. I know he might have been with the Packers, but with this team, I see Williams as more of a first, second down back. I don't see them checking down to him quite as much as they were to Swift. I know he got 5 targets in the last game. They were in a not super negative game script, but they were in a negative game script against the Bears. So just keep that in mind. I mean, it's not too much of a downgrade from Swift to Williams, but I think there's going to be some vacated targets. I think Reynolds could have some production. Another thing, 90% of the snaps in his first week, 3 targets for nothing, and then another 88% of snaps for 5 and 3 for 70 and that touchdown. So this video is already longer than I wanted it to be, but Josh Reynolds, speculative ad, decent matchup coming up. He looks to be the number 1 guy. Looks like they're going to try to manufacture touches for him. They're going to try to get Jared Goff going. And pick him up if you need to replace Deebo and it's looking thin on your waiver wire. And I hope this helps you guys. Just like and subscribe if it does. And eat some dubs.